Today, the Jeffrey Dahmer case. We'll explore through three perspectives: the victims and their families, the investigation and law enforcement, and the legal system and final sentence. Viewer discretion advised, sensitive topics ahead. We'll cite court records, police reports, and judgments, clearly separating confirmed facts from claims, arguments, or speculation. Like, subscribe, and let's begin. Victims and family perspective. According to court records from the 1992 Wisconsin trial, the defendant Jeffrey Dahmer was convicted of 15 counts of first-degree intentional homicide involving 15 victims between 1978 and 1991. While he was convicted of 15 of these murders in 1992, he later confessed to 2 additional killings, bringing the total to 17. The defendant Jeffrey Dahmer was convicted of 15 counts of first-degree intentional homicide involving 15 victims between 1978 and 1991. The official police report from July 22, 1991, states that remains of 11 individuals were discovered in his apartment. Victims identified in records include Stephen Hicks, conviction for 1978 homicide; Stephen Tuomi, 1987, Anthony Hughes, 31, Eddie Smith, 36, and Konarak Synthasamphone 14, 1991. The family claims that their loved ones were overlooked due to societal biases. For instance, Shirley Hughes, mother of Anthony Hughes, stated in media interviews after the discovery that her son, a deaf busboy, vanished in May 1991, with his skull later identified per police reports. In the judgment, the court noted Konarak Synthasamphone escaped the defendant's apartment on May 27, 1991, but was returned by officers. His sister Teresa stated publicly, "He was smart, loved soccer." The family claims that authorities dismissed his distress. Some media reports have raised concerns that victims from marginalized communities, including Black, Asian, and LGBTQ+ individuals, were targeted due to vulnerability. Online communities have speculated that neighbors' complaints about odors were ignored. Investigation and law enforcement perspective. According to the official police report from July 22, 1991, the investigation into the Jeffrey Dahmer case unfolded in a compressed timeline after years of undetected activity. Here's how it progressed: report of the incident, first response, evidence collection, suspect identification, and arrest. Report of the crime. The official police report states that on July 22, 1991, Tracy Edwards approached officers on the street, reporting he had been handcuffed and held against his will in an apartment at 924 North 25th Street, Milwaukee. Edwards described a suspicious male suspect who had lured him there with an offer of money for photos and drinks. First response. Officers accompanied Edwards back to the apartment. According to the report, the suspect Jeffrey Dahmer opened the door and initially cooperated. Dahmer was handcuffed and detained after Edwards pointed out a locked bedroom door. Officers noted a foul odor and observed hydrochloric acid containers, which Dahmer claimed were for cleaning. Collection of evidence. A search warrant was obtained shortly after. The official police report states that detectives uncovered Polaroid photos depicting dismembered body parts, a severed head in a refrigerator, acid vats dissolving remains, and skeletons in a closet remains later linked to 11 individuals per autopsy records. Identification and arrest of suspect. Dahmer was formally identified as the apartment's tenant and sole resident. According to court records, he was arrested on-site and transported for questioning. Detective Patrick Kennedy's interviews, documented over 60 hours, resulted in a 178-page confession where Dahmer detailed 17 homicides starting from 1978. Evidence-type details from official reports. Physical Polaroid photographs of dismembered remains. Human head and organs in refrigerator. Acid-dissolved body parts in vats. Skulls and skeletons in closet and floorboards. No DNA or fingerprints specified in initial reports, but post-arrest autopsies confirmed multiple victims' identities via dental records and X-rays. Witness statements Tracy Edwards' account of being lured, handcuffed, and escaping. Apartment manager and neighbors reported prior odors and complaints per incident logs. Earlier, on May 27, 1991, Konarak synthesome was found naked outside but returned to Dahmer after his statement of a boyfriend dispute, according to the police log. Circumstantial Dahmer's tenancy in isolation as a factory worker provided opportunity. Post-arrest statements outlined a pattern of luring vulnerable individuals with alcohol and sedatives, suggesting motive tied to control. No alibi documented for key dates. Some media reports have raised concerns that the May 27, 1991, response to Konarak's synthesome represented a missed opportunity, as officers Andrea Smith and John Balcherzak accepted Dahmer's explanation without further checks leading to administrative reviews where the officers were initially suspended. According to reports, in 1988, Dahmer had a prior conviction for assaulting Kyson synthesome, Konarak's brother, but served only probation. The defense argued in court that the suspect's drifter lifestyle and low profile contributed to evasion. Online communities have speculated that biases influenced prior non-responses to complaints. Trial, appeals, legal system perspective. According to court records from the 1992 Wisconsin proceedings, the defendant Jeffrey Dahmer faced formal charges for 15 counts of first-degree intentional homicide under Wisconsin Statute 940.01, which defines the offense as causing the death of another person with intent to kill. The trial began January 30, 1992, before Judge Lawrence Graham, Jr., after Dahmer pled guilty but insane on January 13, waiving a guilt-phase trial per Wisconsin law. Prosecution versus defense arguments. Prosecution's main argument: prosecutors asserted that defendant was legally sane, emphasizing his detailed planning luring victims, drugging them, and disposing of remains, which demonstrated control and awareness of wrongfulness. They relied on post-arrest confessions and physical evidence like Polaroids to argue he knew his actions violated the law. Defense's main argument. The defense argued in court that the defendant suffered from a mental disease or defect, specifically alcohol-induced psychosis and necrophilia, rendering him unable to control impulses or appreciate wrongdoing. They cited childhood trauma, animal dissections, and psychiatric evaluations to claim insanity under Wisconsin's standard. In the judgment, the court found the prosecution's evidence convincing due to the defendant's methodical actions, CALM's 60-hour confession, and failure to meet the insanity burden by a preponderance of evidence. The jury deliberated about 5 hours on February 15, 1992, rejecting the insanity defense for all 15 counts, noting weak support for claims of uncontrollable psychosis amid evidence of deliberate evasion. Judge Graham sentenced Dahmer on February 17th to 15th consecutive life sentences, minimum 957 years without parole eligibility, plus the Ohio life term, stating the acts warranted permanent isolation from society. No successful appeals occurred on the homicide convictions. According to court records, Dahmer did not appeal the Wisconsin verdict. In Ohio, he pled guilty to the Hicks charge in 1992 and received a life sentence without appeal noted. Some media reports have raised concerns that families pursued civil suits, such as the synthesome estate's 1992 claim against Milwaukee for police actions, but these were separate from criminal appeals. The defense argued in court that expert testimony on mental illness was undervalued. Some media reports have raised concerns that the insanity standard favored prosecution due to the defendant's cooperation. Online communities have speculated that different psychiatric witnesses might have swayed the jury, though courts upheld the verdicts. The Dahmer case, per official records, reveals investigative gaps and legal debates. What source would you like cited next time? Comment, share, and subscribe for more verified breakdowns. Stay informed.